This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. 4 police officers were relieved from their posts for the alleged mistaken arrest of a businessman in Bulacan, the Philippine National Police said. When you conduct an operation, you should be clear and correct with your target. You should study it thoroughly. There was a lack of intelligence work, PNP Chief General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. told reporters in an interview in Camp Crame on Friday. So, they are now in hot water. They've been relieved of their posts. They were assigned to the Regional Holding and Accounting Unit and facing administrative and criminal cases, he added. The businessman was approached by 3 of the implicated officers and a confidential informant at the parking lot of a restaurant in Baliwag City last Thursday afternoon, according to a police regional office Central Luzon Spot report. The officers allegedly requested him, the businessman, to board a red Toyota Vios and did not present a warrant of arrest, the Spot report said. When the businessman resisted and called for help, several restaurant employees responded and prevented the officers from taking him, the police further explained. Shortly thereafter, another, confidential informant, arrived, talked to him. The businessman photographed his identification card and face and later realized that they had mistaken him for another person, the Spot report added. All officers and confidential informants in the operation left afterward. A follow-up PRO3 Spot report identified the 3 implicated officers as 2 police master sergeants and a staff sergeant assigned to the San Rafael Municipal Police Station. Meanwhile, Nartates identified the 4th relieved police officer as the San Rafael Town Police Chief, citing command responsibility. In another interview in Camp Crame later on Friday, PNP Public Information Chief Colonel Alan Rayco maintained that the Baliwag City operation had a warrant but declined to provide further details. A retired police officer who had been under surveillance by the Philippine National Police Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group was arrested in a buy-bust operation in Iriga City, Camarines Sur on Thursday night, the 16th of July. The suspect was identified as retired police staff Sergeant Richmond Sastoriano Bonavi II, 45, formerly assigned to the Bicol Police Regional Office's Regional Communications and Electronics Unit 5. Bonavi was nabbed after allegedly yielding 65,280 pesos worth of suspected shabu or crystal meth in a buy-bus operation conducted by personnel of the Special Operations Unit 5 of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group as the lead unit and other local police units in Camarines Sur, in coordination with the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency at 8:58 p.m. in Barangay San Francisco, Iriga City. The subject was among the monitored retired PNP personnel under IMEG Copland DINA due to information linking him to alleged involvement in the proliferation of illegal drugs, a report reaching Camp Crame showed on Friday, the 17th of July. Authorities said the operation resulted in the seizure of 4 heat-sealed transparent plastic sachets containing suspected shabu weighing about 9.6 grams with an estimated dangerous drugs board value of 65,280 pesos. Police also recovered 1 genuine 500 pesos bill used as buy-bus money, 5 1,000 pesos boodle bills, a motorcycle ignition key, 507 pesos in cash consisting of paper bills and coins, and a green disposable lighter from the suspect. The retired policeman was placed under the custody of the Iriga City Police Station while charges for violation of Republic Act No. 9165, or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, are being prepared. A 66-year-old barangay councilor was shot dead by motorcycle-riding gunmen at his farm in Barangay Malabago here at 8 in the morning on Friday, police said. Lito Publico, 66, who used to serve as the barangay captain, sustained 5 bullet wounds, one of which pierced his head, according to Police Colonel Manuel Bringas, Isabela Police Director. The type of gun used is still being verified. Police have yet to determine the reason for the attack but are hunting down the killers. The follow-up investigation is still ongoing, Bringas said. A barangay captain was arrested on Friday for allegedly shooting a truck driver in the leg during a road rage incident along the National Highway in Guagua, Pampanga, shortly after midnight. In a statement, the Central Luzon Police said the suspect was apprehended in Barangay Santa Maria, Lubao, Pampanga, at around 1 p.m. Friday, about 12 hours after the shooting. The police withheld the identity of the suspect, describing him only as a 42-year-old barangay captain from Lubao. The shooting incident stemmed from an altercation between the driver of a Ford pickup truck and the driver of a cargo truck along Jose Abad Santos Avenue at around 1:20 am. The confrontation allegedly escalated when the pickup truck driver drew a gun and shot the 28-year-old cargo truck driver. The 28-year-old victim sustained a gunshot wound to his right leg and was immediately taken to a hospital for medical treatment, the police said. Police said investigators identified and tracked down the suspect by reviewing closed-circuit television footage in the area. Authorities also seized the suspect's licensed firearm, which was allegedly used in the shooting. The weapon will undergo forensic examination as police prepare the appropriate criminal charges against the suspect. A councillor of the Cagayangan, Special Geographic Area Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao was gunned down Thursday afternoon in this town. Police Lieutenant Colonel Ray Salgado, head of the Midsayap Municipal Police, said the attack against Cagayangan Councillor Nasser Dalandang occurred at about 3 p.m. on the national highway in Barangay Salunayan. Investigation said Dalandang was parked in his pickup truck waiting for his wife who was purchasing medicine when he was attacked. Two men on a motorcycle shot Dalandang on the pickup truck's driver's side. Police and soldiers rushed him to the hospital, but he was declared dead on arrival, Salgado said. He said a thorough investigation is underway to determine the motive behind the killing and identify the suspects involved. Midsayap police has intensified security measures in the area while pursuing the perpetrators. It appealed to anyone with information that could help in the investigation to contact the nearest police station. Dalandang is a member of the United Justice Party, the political party of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the BARMM. Midsayap is not part of BARMM and is not covered by the gun ban related to the parliamentary elections on the 14th of September, but it is located beside Cagayangan where the gun ban is in effect. The Philippine National Police Internal Affairs Service has disarmed a cop who is suspected of being the mastermind in the killing of a jeepney driver. In a statement, PNP-IAS Chief Inspector General Brigido Dule said the police non-commissioned officer assigned to the Regional Internal Affairs Service, National Capital Region, has been disarmed and placed in restrictive custody. A criminal complaint has also been filed against the officer before the prosecutor's office of Muntinlupa City. Dule said that at no point was the cop afforded any special treatment or accommodation by virtue of his assignment within the IAS. The IAS exists to hold police officers accountable. That mandate does not carry an exception for our own people. When one of our own betrays the badge, we do not circle the wagons, we open the gates, he said. Dule assured the public that the actions of errant individuals do not define the institution. Meanwhile, the wife of the victim formally filed an administrative complaint against the officer before the National Police Commission. While the IAS had already commenced its own preliminary investigation into the matter, we recognize that the NAPOLCOM's independent handling of this case will best serve the interest of justice and dispel any perception of institutional bias. Accordingly, the IAS will cooperate fully with NAPOLCOM and will hand over all relevant evidence and documentation gathered in the course of our own proceedings, he added. Dule also said the IAS will likewise conduct an internal review of their personnel screening and monitoring protocols to ensure that red flags are identified and acted upon at the earliest opportunity. In a separate statement on Wednesday, NAPOLCOM Vice Chairperson and Executive Officer Rafael Vicente Calinazan warned the entire police force to strictly stop all forms of extortion, declaring that any police officer found collecting cotton or protection money will face immediate dismissal from the service. The sweeping directive came as members of Transport Group Manibula and the family of the slain public utility jeepney driver filed a formal complaint before NAPOLCOM against Police Executive Master Sergeant Edwin Figueroa, who allegedly masterminded the killing after the victim refused to pay illegal collections, or BUTOR. Stressing the gravity of the extortion complaint, Calinazan emphasized that NAPOLCOM will pursue the case without compromise and impose the highest administrative sanctions on any police personnel found liable. He directed the Commission's inspection, monitoring, and investigation service to expedite the probe, assuring the complainants of a resolution within 60 days, in line with the agency's policy on the prompt disposition of disciplinary cases. To ensure accountability across the ranks, Calinazan urged not just transport workers, but all victims of police extortion, to report abusive officers directly to NAPOLCOM, the National Capital Region Police Office, or their nearest police station. Police arrested a 26-year-old Sangguniang Kabataan councillor and his two companions in a buy-bust operation in Barangay Tinampuran, Cadiz City, Negros Occidental on Thursday, the 16th of July. The suspects were identified as SK Councillor Bingbong of Barangay Zone 6, Cadiz City, and Jack, 27, of Barangay Zone 4, Cadiz City, and Ro, 28, of Barangay 1, Manapla, Negros Occidental. Recovered from them were 4.5 grams of suspected shabu worth 30,600 pesos, the 500 pesos marked money, a .38 caliber revolver, and 2 bullets. Police Lieutenant Delene Grace Lorino, Deputy Chief of Cadiz City Police Station, said that Bing Bong used a different name in his transactions and was arrested after a 2-month monitoring. The suspects used cashless transactions and send a photo of the item to their customer and drop it in a location where it will be picked up or meet with their trusted clients. Ro is the alleged source of the contraband. The suspects denied involvement in the illegal drugs trade. Bing Bong was elected in 2023 and was tagged as a high-value individual. His companions were classified as street-level individuals. Police Brigadier General Romano Cardano, Director of Police Regional Office Negros Island Region, said the successful operation sends a clear message that the law applies to all people. Officials of Barangay San Vicente in Angono, Rizal condemned the shooting of its village secretary, who succumbed to his wounds while undergoing treatment on Sunday, the 19th of July. The victim was identified as Freddy Caneva, 46. His brother, Joseph, confirmed that he died at around 3 p.m. on Sunday. In a statement, the barangay administration denounced the attack, extended its condolences to Caneva's family, and called on authorities to conduct a swift and thorough investigation to bring the perpetrators to justice. His dedication and service to our community will never be forgotten, the barangay said. Caneva had been hospitalized since Friday, the 17th of July, after he was shot while on his way to work. Police earlier reported that the attack occurred at around 8 am along Dona Nieves Street, where the barangay secretary was walking to the Barangay San Vicente office. 2 motorcycle-riding gunmen reportedly approached Caneva before one of them fired several shots. The suspects then fled toward Barangay Calon. Caneva was initially taken to Angono General Hospital before being transferred to Amang Rodriguez Medical Center in Marikina City, where he died. A village chair in Victoria City, Negros Occidental, was arrested for illegal possession of firearm and explosive during a search warrant operation Friday night, the Police Regional Office Negros Island Region said on Saturday. The suspect was identified as alias Car, 54, of Hacienda Nasapunan, Barangay 12. PRONIR spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Joe Malong said the suspect failed to obtain both license to own and possess firearm and permits to carry firearm outside residence. Based on the records of the Philippine National Police Firearms and Explosives Office, there has been a complaint against him for illegal possession of firearms, and upon verification, the police learned he does not have an LTOPF and a PTCFOR, Malong told the Philippine news agency. Alias Gar yielded a caliber .22 revolver loaded with 6 rounds of ammunition, 63 additional rounds of caliber .22 ammunition, and a hand grenade during the operation led by the Victoria's Component City Police Station, where he is detained. We will continue to intensify intelligence-driven operations and ensure that individuals who violate our firearms and explosives laws are held accountable, PRONIR Director Brigadier General Romano Cardano said in a statement. Police have arrested a 56-year-old public school principal over the fatal shooting of a 7-month pregnant teacher and her unborn child last May. Abra. Police said the suspect was arrested inside his office in a school in Lagangalang, Abra. Authorities said a witness positively identified the principal as the gunman who fled the crime scene aboard a motorcycle after the attack. Investigators said the suspect was the backrider of a motorcycle driven by another man when he shot Maria Elaine Bisas Valencia, 36. On the 8th of May, the driver remains unidentified and is still being hunted by police. The killing was allegedly motivated by the suspect's fear that Valencia was preparing to file criminal charges against him after she learned that her daughter was allegedly in a relationship with the suspect since she was 12 years old. Police Captain Cyril Gaspoli, chief of the Tayum Municipal Police Station, said they believe the suspect wanted to silence the victim before she could pursue legal action. Valencia, a resident of Barangay Pawa, Lagangalang, and a teacher in Taguig City, was on board a motorcycle driven by her husband on their way to a bus terminal here with relatives on a separate motorcycle when they were ambushed by 2 motorcycle-riding gunmen in Barangay Bumagit, Tayum. The suspects fled and Valencia sustained multiple bullet wounds. She was taken to a hospital in Bangued before being transferred to a medical facility in Bantay, Ilocos Sur, where she and her unborn child were declared dead. Manhunt operations for the other suspect and follow-up investigation are ongoing. A dismissed Philippine national police officer was arrested for the fourth time after allegedly stealing a tricycle that served as the sole livelihood of two ailing siblings in Barangay San Isidro, Quezon City. On the 17th of July, the 54-year-old suspect, identified only as alias Ram, was arrested by operatives of the Galas police station led by Police Lieutenant Colonel Morgan Aguilar at his residence in Barangay San Isidro at around 1 am on the 17th of July. The case began on the evening of the 15th of July when victim Roy Guanleo parked his Kawasaki motorcycle with sidecar in front of his residence on Union Civica Street. Guanleo discovered that the tricycle was missing when he woke up at around 7 am on the 16th of July. According to Aguilar, Guanleo initially thought that someone had merely borrowed the tricycle and began asking around. He initially thought that someone had merely borrowed the tricycle and that it had not been stolen. He began asking around and eventually spoke with the witness, Aguilar said. A female witness later told Guanleo that she had seen the suspect driving the tricycle toward Bayani Street in Barangay San Isidro during the early hours of the 16th of July. Police also reviewed CCTV footage that allegedly showed the suspect driving the stolen vehicle. Operatives later went to the suspect's residence but failed to find him there. When police were informed that the suspect had returned home on the 17th of July, they immediately proceeded to the area and arrested him at around 1 am in the stolen tricycle. However, has yet to be recovered. Guanleo said the tricycle was their only source of livelihood, as he and his sibling, both suffering from illnesses, depended on it. He said they are now worried about how they will pay for their household expenses and medical needs. The suspect denied involvement in the theft and claimed that he was merely at home when the incident occurred. Police said the suspect had already been jailed 3 times in the past. Records showed that he had previous cases for violations of Republic Act No. 9165, or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, in 2019 and 2023, as well as serious physical injuries and alarms and scandals in 2017. The suspect is detained at the Galas police station and will face a complaint for violation of Republic Act No. 10883, or the new Anti-Kidnapping Act of 2016, before the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. A Lipa City traffic enforcer was gunned down on Monday morning, the 20th of July, in this town. Police identified the victim as Adelaida Janet Baldo Thompson. Investigation said the victim was driving a motorcycle on her way home when a man on board a black motorcycle and wearing black jacket and helmet appeared and shot her. The victim died on the spot and the suspect fled towards the Maharlika Highway. Follow-up investigation and manhunt operations are ongoing. Several individuals from Cebu have accused some police officers of victimizing them in car scams. The complainants filed an administrative case against the implicated officers before the National Police Commission at the latter's office in Quezon City on Tuesday, the 21st of July. In a press briefing after the filing, one of the complainants, businessman Ronald Elper, alleged purchasing several vehicles from the group of police officers last August. They first bring up the relationship, that they're friends, acquaintances. They said they had special discounts. Elper told reporters, there were some vehicles that they delivered, some that they didn't. Until now, they haven't given us the documents, he added. Also at the briefing, co-complainant Baby Villaspin claimed he and a police colonel agreed to evenly split a 260,000 pesos down payment to purchase a vehicle from the same group. However, according to Villaspin, the police colonel's check bounced, which meant the bank could not process it, forcing Villaspin to cover the entire 260,000 pesos. He further claimed that the vehicle was later taken from his residence and has not been returned despite repeated assurances. At the presser, Napolcom Commissioner Rafael Kalinizan said the commission will conduct a thorough investigation into the allegations. We'll be looking at whether there is a connection between these allegations, if there is a larger scheme or a syndicate behind this. We really have to dive deep and check, Kalinizan said. The Supreme Court turned down the appeal filed by a former police officer and 6 other individuals accused of kidnapping for ransom in 2004. The High Tribunal said the loss or non-presentation of ransom money in court does not prevent a conviction for kidnapping for ransom, so long as the prosecution is able to prove that ransom was demanded for the victim's release. In a 16-page decision made public Tuesday, the SC denied the appeal of Jose Olivato, Jamie Tolivas, Romeo Aruta, Rodrigo Aruta, Alberto Kilinag, Edwin Castillo, and PO3 Clayton Patingan. The SC sentenced them to reclusion perpetual without eligibility for parole and ordered them to pay the female victim 300,000 pesos as civil indemnity and moral and exemplary damages. The prosecution's evidence, clear, direct and corroborated by independent witnesses, convincingly established that the victim, Genevieve's abduction was committed for ransom, the SC said. It also said Patingan's claim that he and the victim had a romantic relationship deserves no weight. The accused did not produce any evidence to prove his claim of a romantic relationship with the victim, or to show that the charge of kidnapping was fabricated out of fear of her parents, according to the SC ruling. The case against another accused, SPO4 Romeo Asen, was dismissed following his death during the pendency of the case. Patingan and Asen flagged the victim's car and, together with the other accused, forcibly took her and detained her in a house. They demanded 50 million pesos from the victim's father in exchange for her release. After negotiations, the amount was reduced to 500,000 pesos. Under police surveillance, the victim's family driver delivered the marked ransom money to the accused. The police then rescued her, arrested the suspects and recovered the marked money. The regional trial court found that the accused worked together to kidnap and detain the victim for ransom. It rejected their defenses of denial and alibi. The Court of Appeals affirmed the conviction. The SC said the evidence showed that the ransom money was delivered and received during the police operation. The SC also clarified that although Patingan was a police officer at the time of the crime, he was considered a private individual because he was not performing his official duties when he participated in the kidnapping. Police took into custody a 31-year-old army soldier after he allegedly fired 5 shots during a confrontation with construction workers along Diversion Road in Barangay 13, Catbalogan City in Samar, on Tuesday evening. The suspect, identified only as Tep, of Motion, Samar, was allegedly under the influence of liquor when the incident occurred around 6 p.m., according to the initial investigation of the Catbalogan City Police Station. Police said the suspect arrived at the area aboard a motorcycle and became belligerent after Jim, 26, a construction worker, told him to park his motorcycle properly. The suspect allegedly drew a firearm and fired 3 shots toward Jim. In turn, Jim punched the suspect, causing him to fall to the ground and flee. While fleeing, the suspect allegedly fired 2 more shots in Jim's direction. Jim's sister intervened and cautioned the suspect, prompting him to stop, police said. The suspect later wandered around the area until bystanders subdued and pacified him before turning him over to responding police officers. 2 other construction workers, identified as Ray, 19, and Rod, 58, both residents of Barangay 13, were hit by stray bullets allegedly fired by the suspect. They were brought to Samar Provincial Hospital for medical treatment. The police said Jim was unharmed. The Catbalogan Police, together with the Regional Special Operations Unit 8 and the Samar Police Provincial Office Provincial Intelligence Unit, responded to the incident. The suspect was taken into police custody for proper disposition while the scene of the crime operations team was requested to process the crime scene. Authorities have yet to disclose the firearm used in the incident and the specific charges to be filed against the suspect. A show cause order has been issued to Dumanjug, Cebu Mayor Efren Gungan, who figured in a road accident while counterflowing and driving a motorcycle without license plate in Minglanilla, Cebu. The Land Transportation Office Central Visayas suspended Jika's driver's license for 90 days. LTO7 summoned Jika to explain why he should not be charged for violating the Land Transportation and Traffic Code. Regardless of one's position or status, every motorist is equally accountable under the law, while every respondent is afforded full due process before any final administrative action is taken. Wendell Dinglason, director of LTO7, said in a statement, Jika will be investigated for possible reckless driving, operating a motor vehicle without displaying the prescribed number plate, and being an improper person to operate a motor vehicle, among other administrative offenses, the LTO7 said. The incident, which happened on Sunday morning, the 19th of July, went viral on social media after the crash was caught by dashcam video. Jika was driving a Ducati motorcycle when he rammed a van that was executing a U-turn at a designated slot. He has apologized for the incident and vowed to cooperate in the investigation. I make no excuses. I was wrong, and I take full accountability for what happened, Jika said. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.